Viewers, Assalamu alaikum. Welcome to my Linear Ocean Learning channel on transformation of sentences according to structure, from complex to simple and from complex to compound. Rule 24. Complex sentences with antecedent plus RP in case of RP itself functioning as the subject of subordinating clause in active mode. Viewers, in my lesson, I have used some abbreviations in my structures and I need to clarify them. PCL means principal clause, RP means relative pronoun, EX means extension, AUX dot V dot auxiliary verb, NPOSCL next part of subordinating clause, NPOPCL next part of principal clause, SP means subjective pronoun. Now let's get to the example. I lived in a cabin. That here, that is the relative pronoun and a cabin is the antecedent. Now what is antecedent? A noun or a pronoun going before a relative pronoun is called antecedent, or a noun or a pronoun that precedes a relative pronoun is called antecedent. So a cabin is the antecedent of that. I lived in a cabin, this is principal clause. That belonged to the orphanage, this one is subordinating clause, and obviously it is an adjective clause. That belonged to the orphanage, this is subordinating clause, and at the same time an adjective clause. If we want to put it into simple sentence, the structure we have to follow is PCL. PCL is I lived in a cabin. RP omitted, RP will be omitted, plus verb ing. Verb is belonged here and its ing form is belonging plus extension to the orphanage. So answer is I lived in a cabin belonging to the orphanage. Viewers, complex sentences with antecedent plus RP in case of RP itself functioning as the subject of subordinating clause in active mood are not in practice to transform to compound sentence. However, I have made compound somehow. The cabin belonged to the orphanage and I lived there, or I lived in a cabin and it belonged to an orphanage. Rule 25. Complex sentences with antecedent plus RP in case of subordinating clause functioning in passive mood. Example, the boy who was forced to leave the place. Here, who was forced to leave the place is the subordinating clause and it is in passive mood. Now, if we want to put it into simple sentence, the structure we have to follow is antecedent. Here antecedent is the boy plus RP plus auxiliary verb omitted. We have to omit relative pronoun who and auxiliary verb was, then extension. Then next part of the sentence is forced to leave the place was not really dishonest. So the answer is the boy who was omitted, forced to leave the place was not really dishonest. Again, if we want to put it into compound sentence, we have got the structure of compound sentence from complex sentence. The boy who was forced to leave the place was not really dishonest. Antecedent plus RP omitted plus NPOSCL. If we omit relative pronoun who, so we are getting the boy was forced to leave the place. Antecedent plus antecedent is the boy and relative pronoun who is omitted. Then next part of subordinating clause, was forced to leave the place, but subjective pronoun, the subjective pronoun of the noun is the noun the boy is he. Then next part of the sentence, was not really dishonest. Then if we follow the structure, the compound sentence we are getting is the boy who omitted, then next part of subordinating clause, was forced to leave the place, but then here it will be subjective pronoun, then extension, was not really dishonest. The boy was forced to leave the place, but he was not really dishonest. Viewers, if you don't understand this lesson very well, you can go to my description box in my video, and there are the details there, and I hope you will understand. See you in my next video. Till then, goodbye.